In November 1997, Ellen Ripley returned to the big screen in Alien: Resurrection. Well, kind of. Technically, Sigourney Weaver was playing Ellen Ripley Clone 8, but nobody really called her that, not even 20th Century Fox. No, they basically centered their entire advertising campaign around the idiotic notion that they were heroically bringing back one of the greatest heroes of all time.
General, we do not perceive this to be a problem.
Ellen Ripley died trying to wipe this species out. For all intents and purposes, she succeeded. I'm not anxious to see her taking up her old hobbies.
Despite the fact that her tragic death in Alien 3 was not only at the insistence of Weaver, but a final statement of the character's own trials and tribulation. The studio relished the blockbuster concept, selling Weaver as a super Ripley of sorts, what with her ability to bleed acid, charm xenomorphs, and confirm that basketball was still a thing in 2379. But really, they were backpedaling on the story of its predecessor, which literally shut the door on the franchise. Why? Well, for the same reason that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation keeps sending out blue-collar space jockeys to investigate lousy, super dangerous planets. Money, money, money. Not long ago, studios were willing to respect the franchise, valuing story over dollars, and Alien 3 is a testament to that power. It's a dismissal bookend that complements the disturbing world Ridley Scott created. The allusions to abortion and AIDS offer such an empowering quasi-Christ-like sacrifice to a character that had gone through hell and back so many times, it would be perverse to do it again. That's why Alien Resurrection is so disappointing, both then and now. It shoots a flamethrower on the entire franchise over what was once a wholly unified trilogy, and commits some of the greatest sins in Hollywood filmmaking. For starters, the premise itself plays gluttonous fan service by indulging in the superfluous grief over losing a beloved character, while also subjugating that story's world to a lackadaisical deus machina, i.e. cloning, that subverts the franchise in all the wrong ways. Gone are the hefty stakes, the emotionalism, the bewilderment, all in lieu of ironic action. Even worse, said deus machina set an incorrigible precedent for Hollywood sequels. By pulling Ripley out of hell, they essentially proved that anything goes, that it doesn't matter how far of reach something may be, that anything can be reset. That's not to say it isn't fun or of quality. To the studio's credit, they tapped some extraordinary talent for their fourth go-around, hiring the City of Lost Children visionary Jean-Pierre and then rising screenwriter Joss Whedon, who both took some major creative liberties to make this their own thing. But that's what, in turn, makes the film so complicated. Because for as ludicrous as it gets, and yes, this film gets batshit crazy super fast, there's still enough to appreciate on its own. The underwater sequence, the xenomorph escape, Brad Dourif, the whole kill me sequence. The problem is that it doesn't all add up, probably because it shouldn't. Now, had this been separate from the Ripley trilogy and the scientists simply cloned a bunch of xenomorphs, well, maybe this wouldn't be such an issue. Ripley's storyline is fairly unimportant in the greater context of the film, namely because Genet seems far more invested in having a laugh with everything. So, why do you need Ripley at all? Of course, the better question is, why do you need another sequel? But this being Hollywood, and this being a story that can and should expand on a variety of mediums outside of film, that question gets answered pretty fast. So let's answer the first with a resounding, you don't. What Hollywood needs to learn, and pretty goddamn fast, is that familiarity doesn't always work. Ripley had her time, her story was done. So why not just create a new one, full of new characters, who have fresh problems, and whose squabbles make the xenomorphs that much more terrifying? Well, some of it's comfort, some of it's nostalgia, and a lot of it is ease. For Fox, it was much easier to sell another Alien if they could slap on Weaver's name atop posters, no matter how many hurdles they had to jump, both logically and narratively, to make it happen. Again, it doesn't have to be this way. Sure, some characters warrant further exploration, but when your lead has succumbed to a fiery death, one that was intricately designed to avoid situations like this, you have to move on. Think of it this way. How much better would Alien Resurrection have been if they had simply made Winona Ryder the lead, embraced the comical aesthetics, and focused solely on the situation at hand? Maybe the xenomorphs could have been simple accoutrements to the gargantuan military, or perhaps they could have even been the leads trying to escape. Who knows? If anything, it would have been unique, and that's what every sequel should be. That is, when sequels need to exist at all.